The miracles keep rolling in for President Trump by the grace of God after narrowly surviving Saturday's attempted assassination, which we'll talk about in greater depth after the break. District Judge Eileen Cannon in Florida is now dismissing the classified documents case brought by special counsel Jack Smith. And the best part, the Judge Cannon is questioning whether we can even really call Jack Smith special counsel. It's the same question raised by Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas in his concurring opinion over the presidential immunity ruling. Was Jack Smith validly appointed to his position by Attorney General Merrick Garland or not? Judge Cannon answered the justice's question clearly by arguing that no, he wasn't. She argues in today's dismissal, quote, upon careful study of the foundational challenges raised in the motion, the court is convinced that special counsel Smith's prosecution of this action breaches two structural cornerstones of our constitutional scheme: the role of Congress in the appointment of constitutional officers and the role of Congress in authorizing expenditures by law. The framers gave Congress a pivotal role in the appointment of principal and inferior officers. That role cannot be usurped by the executive branch or diffused elsewhere, whether in this case or in another case, whether in times of heightened national need or not. In the case of inferior officers, that means that Congress is empowered to decide if it wishes to vest appointment power in a head of department. And indeed, Congress has proven itself quite capable of doing so in many other statutory contexts. But it plainly did not do so here, despite the special counsel's strained statutory readings, end quote. It's now up to Smith to appeal the ruling. Joining us now to discuss is Paul Kamen, our counsel for the National Legal and Policy Center. Paul, thanks for being back tonight.
Thank you for having me. My pleasure.
Great. So that was a lot of legalese we heard from Judge Cannon. So in simple English, explain for us, why does she argue that special counsel Jack Smith was not legally appointed as special counsel?
Well, it's actually very simple. Under the Constitution, all officers of the United States have to be established, quote, by law, end quote. And what we have here with Jack Smith is that there is no law establishing the Office of Special Counsel. What happened in 1999, the Office of Independent Counsel that Ken Starr was running, that statute expired. So when that expired, Janet Reno, then the Attorney General for Bill Clinton, said, I don't care what Congress does. I'm going to draft some regulations myself and say that I can appoint a special counsel. So what the court said was, look, the emperor has no clothes here. Jack, there is no law setting up the Office of Special Counsel. And even if there were, our fallback argument is that he has to be what's called a principal officer appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Why? Because all 93 U.S. attorneys in the country are appointed that way. And here you have Jack Smith being a super U.S. attorney. He's indicting Trump in D.C. He's indicting Trump in Florida. No other U.S. attorney can do that. So this is the same argument I made 5 years ago, challenging then Robert Mueller as being unconstitutional. Unfortunately, the liberal D.C. Circuit, in a poorly written opinion, rejected it. And when Trump was indicted, I contacted the Trump attorneys and said, hey, file this motion because the Florida attorney is not bound by the D.C. ruling. So thank God she ruled in favor of Trump. And also took a cue from Justice Clarence Thomas, who, in the immunity opinion a couple of weeks ago, basically said, "Hey, who's this Jack Smith guy? Who appointed him?" So he also added a little icing to the cake, and Judge Cannon recognized that, and here we are today.
You know, and I know just a few days ago, AOC, she filed impeachment articles against Supreme Court Justices Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito. I mean, the leftists, they're mad. It's the only branch right now that they don't fully control, and they're trying their best to just to make the justices rule the way they want them to rule. Now, my next question for you, though, is Jack Smith's other case, the J6 case, I believe, under Judge Chutkan. How do you think that might go? I know that's more of a Democrat-appointed judge, more of a D.C. type judge. So are we going to see a similar ruling as to Cannon, or is there going to be a conflict there? How do you see that being resolved?